First of all, thank you very much. This is Michelle Dalton with Ophthalmology Times Europe. Thank you so much to the Zeiss Group for agreeing to be with us here and talk to us a little bit through what it is that's going to go on at EURETINA at your booth. So please take it away for just a minute.
Thank you very much, Michelle. We really appreciate the time and the opportunity to talk with you. So I'm Euan Thomson. I'm head of the digital business unit at Zeiss and president of ophthalmology.
Euan, if you don't mind my asking, obviously, the virtual experience is so much different than what we might be able to expect had we been able to be on site and have some hands-on interaction with you and your colleagues. So what can a visitor to your virtual booth expect at this year's EURETINA?
Yeah, that's a great question. If you don't mind, what I'll do is I'll sort of frame the answer to that a little bit in the background of what's kind of got us to this particular point. So as we went through, the deep dark days of COVID, if you like, and everything was in lockdown and shut down almost globally, we spent hours, and probably had about 10,000 contact points or more with customers. And those conversations focused from the very early days in what they were experiencing and also what they expected to experience as their practices started to reopen. So based on those conversations, we came up with some immediate things which are actually described in the Web Support Now website. And that was kind of an immediate response. So we did things like we realized about that there'll be challenges with social distancing between individual patients and one another, between the doctor and the patient, between staff working in a clinic and the patient. And we came up with a series, I think, of very practical but useful solutions, such as breath shields, to shield a patient from an operator of imaging equipment. And we shipped those out free. And we came up with other practical solutions, such as just lengthening the cable between the operator station and a camera so that people could operate at a bigger distance. So these all came from our conversations with customers, and we received amazing feedback on that, I have to say. And I think our customer base generally was really happy with what we did. And we did it. I can't say this was really a business initiative. We recognized that the world was in a tough spot, and we wanted to do what we could to really to help with the reopening and help our customers in the best way we possibly could. And that's why, many of the solutions, they don't involve any kind of transaction at all. It really was there to try and help get the field moving again. We've kind of taken that early work to the next phase. And what that involves is thinking about, well, what are the biggest challenges to workflow in what we now know is the new normal? Remaining connected remaining connected remotely, for example, generally thinking about workflow, building from what we did with our sort of what we internally called Fast Start, our Med Support Now initiative. What does that transition into now that we're back into this new normal? To finally get to the answer to your question, is actually it's a series of really analysis of workflow for each of the conditions, let's say, that we support our customers to treat and to manage. So such things as lens replacement, we've analyzed each step. We'll be displaying what the technologies that we produce, how they can be linked together and how they can form part of a continuum that drives efficiency, that drives outcomes. And it's positioned particularly for this environment that everybody's working in today. And even our new product releases, which I won't go into right now, but even our new product releases, you will see, definitely have a focus on this type of new environment. So the theme for us is really virtual, this Zeiss Virtual Experience is really focused on workflow solutions and workflow enhancements.
Can you talk about some of what updates or new products you might be releasing at EURETINA?
I think that the theme I think we've been fairly public with already will be what I just described, which is really these sort of, the virtual experience and these workflow solutions. And we've actually invested pretty heavily as well in trying to, as much as possible, to create an environment where our customers can interact with us as they would at a trade show. Okay. So we recognize, the value of a trade show is often the ability to have a little bit of focus time with a salesperson and talk through a particular product, a particular feature, what's new. perhaps to network and meet with other people. And we've tried as hard as we can to create that type of environment in a virtual way. So I think actually, we're hoping that a lot of people will really experience that, because it's something we've worked hard on, and we think it's actually, there's no substitute for face-to-face, unfortunately, in some respects, but I think it's as close as we could get.
Great. Now, will people be able to have as hands-on as they can in today's virtual world with not only some of your new products, but also are there any posters or papers that we should be paying attention to that are?
Yeah, we have educational sessions. We have, sessions going on. We have kind of a virtual auditorium. So we're really trying to manage it in a way, in the same way as we would at a normal trade show, and create a full kind of sort of virtual experience for our customers. There'll be salespeople on hand for them to connect with and to ask particular questions. You mentioned hands-on. I mean, clearly that's the part that we really can't do virtually. But at the same time, for those people with interest, we can certainly arrange that afterwards. And we can certainly talk about, the full feature set and down to the details of the product itself.
Excellent. Is there anything in particular that we should be paying attention to that that is a must-see at the Zeiss booth this year?
There certainly are. I think there are some great things which we'll announce, at the right time. I think there are some really good new products and product features, which I think, definitely add. We pride ourselves at Zeiss. We do consider ourselves a brand for technology. And I think, most of our customers, or all of our customers, hopefully would agree with us, that we work really hard on being, state of the art, the ultimate in quality, and also being up to date with the latest trends and leading things, not just being up to date, but showing the way. And I think you'll see a range of products which demonstrate that again, both the quality of our portfolio and the fact that we're kind of thinking ahead. And then, not to sort of belabor the point, but I think to go back to this concept of, the world is different this year than it was last year. And whereas most discussions we would have had last year at the same event would have been around product features, much as we've got those and we've kept up to date with those, and our R&D teams have been incredibly active during this phase and actually incredibly productive. We do recognize that really what's on our customers' minds right now is not always the latest feature of the latest technology. It is also, sort of like, I've got to be focused. I'm trying to recover my practice. I'm trying to get things moving. There are cost pressures, price pressures. It's hard for me to be as efficient as I used to be. So I would say we've definitely added an extra layer to our sort of our show experience this year, which is around, as I've said, this sort of not just the features and the quality of the technology itself, but how does this all fit together? And if I'm a customer, how does this really help me in my everyday life and solve my problems for me? As this message goes out to customers, we'd really like to encourage them to be active participants. And we know we can't be a substitute for a sort of face-to-face and sitting down with a colleague having a cup of coffee, but we think we can. We've done what we can to recreate this sort of a virtual environment that hopefully will be engaging and informative.